So you get the new iPhone, Samsung, Google Pixel, and the photo quality looks good. But there's still something missing. Perhaps some pop, oomph, the wow. You've got the new camera, but something with the photos is still the same. Listen, new photo or not, one of the most important factors to good photos is actually the composition versus the actual camera. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to take better pictures with any camera, whether it's your phone or your favorite DSLR or mirrorless camera. I know you've seen this grid before. To get pleasant results, place your focus on these intersections. We can put someone's eye, face, even body on an intersection. If we have two people, we could even put them on both of the lines and have one or even both of them at the intersections. If you're using your phone, we can enable this through the camera settings. If you frame your photo well enough, you may just get your viewer's eyes wandering right where you want them. And we can do that by using the pathways to lead right to our subject, whether they're dead center or off to the side. Our eyes will just follow the lines that you already map out through your composition. How about this one? What do you see here? It's balance. The satisfaction of everything being right where it needs to be, and right where it can be. In a similar way, we can also use the pathways and long roads to just use as symmetrical lines. Similar to that of leading lines, we can find opportunities for symmetry, especially in long pathways, where you can often find balance on both sides of the path. For super satisfying, once you train your eye to see the symmetry, you'll get even better at it once you find the exact symmetry. This is more likely in architecture. Of all the photos that I've taken, one of the easiest places for me to shoot symmetry is in New York City. I often find vertical line symmetry, but you could also have horizontal line symmetry that can be achieved with reflective surfaces from bodies of water. And something like a lake is just right for that. Whether you're shooting in a studio setting with a seamless backdrop or shooting out in nature, negative space is one way to look at your composition. Whether your negative space is a massive wall, a tall forest, or an abundant sky, you can fill up the frame with more negative space in contrast to your subject. Sometimes if you do it just right, it may even look like your subject is on top of the world. Isn't it just amazing? What do you think of when I say contrast? Light to dark kind of contrast, color contrast of different colors, color contrast, contrast of textures? You can help your subject stand out more in the foreground when your background not only complements them, but also when there's an opposite feel to them. If you understand color theory, you can use complementary colors like orange against teal, yellow and purple, red and green. You can also use neutral colors against primary, secondary, or tertiary colors, or even warm versus cool colors. If your subject is wearing a bright colored outfit, it would be nice to have a background with a dark and gray city life. Help them stand out that way. If your subject has a dark color palette, shoot them in front of a white or any bright background, or vice versa. If your subject has patterned clothing, take a picture of them standing in front of bushes or a brick wall to have contrast in texture. Here's another one. Similar to the principle of leading lines, you'll also want to try creating depth in your photos. This can be achieved by sandwiching your subject between a background and a foreground. Your background and foreground may be out of focus as your subject stands out, and no worries, because this is great for portraits and even product shots. You'll see what I mean the next time you see a product shot. Pay attention to the other objects that you see in the frame. Is the main product sandwiched between smaller items in the foreground and the background? But hey, sorry for the room. Do you have any favorite techniques thus far, or any techniques that you are already using? Let me know in the comments. Meanwhile, here's a tip that's kind of meta. Framing your subject in a literal frame. To use this technique, you can literally shoot through a large picture frame, or window, door, or any architectural structure where your subject could be viewed through. Or you could just place your subject, especially food, on a plate, cutting board, or anything that could serve as a natural frame. Although there's no strict or standard ways to improve your photography through these composition tips alone, there's still no denying how satisfying it can be to use one or even mix some of these tips together. And when you do so, you shape more of your style and what really works for you. So try some of these tips and see how they work out for you. If you think these tips are only for photography, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but these composition tips are also applicable to video. If you want to see tips on video movement with these composition tips, check them out over here. Or you can check out these other videos. Thanks again for watching. Now go out there and shoot for the life that matters. See ya!